This is the Iron Trader. It is Friday afternoon. Now, the market is closed today due to the Good Friday holiday. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. But today we're going to do a little bit, something a little bit different. First of all, we're going to do crude oil and natural gas, but then we're going to look here at some chart patterns. Candlestick patterns and regular chart patterns, buy, sell, double tops, all that good stuff here today. Okay, so let's get started. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, sell any stock, commodity, ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Okay, here we have crude oil, your daily chart. Now, I say this is Friday. I always make a video here Sunday night before 7 o'clock on crude oil and natural gas and get you all set up there for Monday. But this here is just a good general look at, see what was going on here. So we've had a really good, actually very, very bullish week, and I just want to point out a couple of key levels and keep a couple of key things here that we want to look for. Okay, so right now, Friday, you had a low of 81.52, and we had a high of 83.21, and it closed at 83.11. Okay, so you just look right up here on the left here, all those numbers are right there for you. Now, right here, this is the price channel. Okay, so price channels are in blue letters. Now, what I use here is simple moving averages. So this is your 8 SMA, which basically is just an average over an 8-day period. Okay, so you have an 8-day, you have a 21-day, the yellow, you have a 50-day is the green, 100-day is the purple, and then we have your red is going to be your 200-day simple moving average. Okay, so just keeps everything very, very simple. I use volume and I use RSI, which basically is a relative strength index. It tells you the strength of whatever the commodity or stock is. And then we look at your MACD. Now, your MACD basically tells you your momentum. Okay, upwards momentum, downwards momentum. Give me an example. Okay, so when this green line goes below that red, see, you can see the downward momentum that's going on here. See this? All the way down. Now, when it comes back above, that green line goes to bed, so you can see the momentum, positive momentum. So these two here are my favorite indicators along with the volume. Now, I've used every indicator here on the planet, okay? And I use these price channels. Now, price channels are very, very good for another simple reason is I like them, is they act like Bollinger Bands, except they're more accurate. Bollinger Bands are just too iffy. They have clouds. Those are other things that you can use here. You can use Fibonacci's. There's a zillion ways to trade. I always found out if you want to make money, consistent money, that's the key. Consistent money. Every day you want to make money. What you have to do is just keep things simple, okay? What you don't want to do is go one day and say, hey, I made $1,000. Oh, this is great. And then the next day, oh, I just lost $1,200. And the next day, oh, I made $1,500. And, oh, I lost $2,000. No. You don't want to do that. You want to make consistent money every day. I don't care if it's $50, if it's $100, or if it's 20 grand a day, okay? Consistent money every day, whatever you feel you can handle. Okay, that is the key. Okay, so that is what you want to do. Do not be, high and low, high and low, high and low, because then all you're doing is trying to, if you take a loss, like say, oh, I lost $1,200, but then all you're doing, you're spending your time trying to regain that loss. You're not going forward. You're just trying to regain that loss. So never do that. Consistent money every day. And you say, hey, I'm getting to a jam, just, stop, pull back. Okay, take a breather from it. If it's an hour, 2 hours, or if it's the whole day. And then, always live to trade another day. That is the key. Okay, so let's take a look here at the chart. So here's what we have. It closed right below. Even though it got higher than this price channel, it closed below it at, just below it here at 83.11. This is your breakout here at 83.12. Now, again, if we can break above this price channel, 83.12, then what we want to do is we want to look right over the left of the chart. Now, we can take your big price channel here and just come right across, okay? So realistically, there's your target is going to be 83.60. We take this one right across. What do we have? You have 85.90. We take this price channel right across. Here, what do we have? You have 89.85. Then what we have is your big target up there at 95.03. Now, remember, Russia is starting to cut production here, okay? They cutting production here because it just looks like what they want to do is they want to take this oil up to like $100. I think they're just kind of maybe screwing with the U.S. here a little bit. I'm not really sure about all that. But they just want to take, when you start lowering production in these times, I don't know, something doesn't seem, all that right. Now, again, OPEC, they also are maintaining their cuts of 2.2 million barrels per day. And now the SPR, okay, that's a strategic petroleum reserve that the U.S. has, they were putting in 3 million barrels a month. Now they're adding 4.7 million barrels per month, but which doesn't make a whole lot of sense here because look at the high of the price. Why didn't you refill this thing when it was way down here, when the price was down here? Why are you filling it up here when it's $83? Okay, so that doesn't make sense. So remember, them are all going to be when you're adding 4.7 million barrels in the SPR. That means you're drawing. So your draws are going to start getting bigger here now. Plus, you got summer driving, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day. Then we have hurricane season, which is major disruption, which always takes crude oil higher. Okay, so what you want to know, those are your big targets. But what we want to do also is look at the top of these candlesticks. Okay, so you basically, if you can get through that, then we come up through this key level here, which is at 83.12. Then what we do is we just follow the candle up there. Okay, so your next level that you're looking for here is going to be right there. Okay, so what do we have here? You have 83.12. So then what we're looking at here is we're going to be looking at 83.42. That's your next level. And then we're going to have 83.60. Okay, then what we do, we can follow these candles. So you have 85.56 here. You have 85.59, and then you have your 85.90. Then instead of going right up to the top of that 89.85 here, well, we can come over here to your 87.75, your 88.33, and then we can just work your candles up. 88.57. You have 89.54, and then you have your 89.85 level. Okay, but when you take these price channels, that's why I always like price channels, because as this is going down here, okay, it leaves a nice price channel in both directions. So then when this reverses, now all this becomes resistance. All the top of these candles is your target area. So even though you have resistance in between, these are the big targets that you want to basically shoot for. Okay, so there's also a couple of things here that we also want to look at here. Okay, so let's look at the downside here first. So when we look at the downside, you can see the nice big red candle here. Okay, so what we want to look next is, say Sunday night there when the futures open, or Monday, if this sells off, then what you want to do is watch this key level. Okay, that's 82.65. That's the top of that candle. Okay, and then we'll come over here. You got 82.48, and right here you have 82.36. Those are going to be your support levels here. And then we can come down here to 81.92. This is going to be your key level here. Holding this is 81.71. That's your 8 SMA. Now, if that is lost, then we'll come here to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at 81.22. And then we always want to look at the previous day's candle there, which is basically sitting here now at 80.55. And this is going to be your key level here at 80.25. So if it can go below that, well, then we have targets here where you look at the high of 78.73, and then we come down to your 78.66. So the simple moving averages are your big resistance and support levels, okay? And then your candlesticks will provide also good support and resistance, but these are your key levels here, is your SMAs here. So again, this is looking so nice because see how bullish this is? Everything is bottom left and upper right. That's what you want to see here when you're trading on the charts if you're bullish. Okay, that's the key. Now, you can see when it came all the way down to this level, see you're holding all this key support level here when this candle came right on down here. Okay, so this is the candle we were looking for, that 80.30, and it held it very nice here with your 80.55. Okay, so that's what we're looking. But look at all this nice support. Now, it doesn't have to be, everything has to be even, like everything has to be 80.30. No, you're going to be support level here coming all the way through very, very nicely off the top of that candle. And this is going to be key candle, that 80.85, for a simple reason is when this broke out, this was the breakout candle, and then it came out and it broke right above that. So always look to the left. that is going to be your key candle there on that you want to hold. And then we have your 21 SMA, your 200-day, and then we have your 50-day all below all this. Okay, so those are very, very key levels of what you want to look at. Okay, so now your RSI looking really good. You're sitting at 65, plenty of room to run up here. Your MACD, your green is over your red. That shows that you're good positive momentum. The key is going to be, can it close above this 83.12, and can it get above Friday's high at that 83.21? That's what we need to do to break out. See, just like we had here, okay, then it broke out with this candle, then it stayed in that upper tier. Then it broke out here and it stayed in upper tier, okay? So that's how crude oil is trading. Now, I just one other thing I want to show you here on this chart, which I pointed out many times. When you have a bottom here, okay, you have a low, and then you put in a higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, all the way through this, okay, that is extremely bullish, okay? Very, very bullish. Another thing, too, is on crude oil, you have to always look at the seasonality charts. Now, you can go to my playlist. I have all the seasonality charts on there of crude oil and natural gas, the indexes. All that is right on the playlist, or you can go to equityclock.com, and everything is right there. Another thing you want to look at here is, see this rounded bottom here. See how nice that is? It's just like a big cup, okay? Very, very nice. Very, very nice, okay? So that tells you that it is very, very bullish pattern. You always want lower left and upper right. You don't want this. See? Up here, and then look how she sold right on down, and they're just fighting that 8 simple moving average all the way. Now, I want to point out here a couple of patterns, because we're going to look at some chart patterns later. But this right here is an absolutely perfect bear flag, okay? You see you have your big, long pole here, okay? So this is the key, and then it tried to rise up, okay? But this top of this candle was 71.81. The top of this candle here, okay, is 72.60. It could not get higher than the top of that candle, and then we had another big red down. See, this is a perfect bear flag. Now, a bull flag will do just the opposite. Now, what you need, I'll show you here on natural gas, that it is flagging, but it's not a true bull flag, because you need to have that pole there and then rally on up. That's a perfect bear flag, just like we had here. This is a little bit different a flag here, but this is a perfect bear flag where you can't get back to the top of that previous candle, and then she just comes flying right on down. Another thing I want to show you here is this candle here, okay? So we look at this, you have a 79.77. So when this rallied back up here, you had 79.60. Okay, you see this? This is an absolute perfect double top situation. So when you see this, you want to go, and you can't close above that candle. That tells you you got to go short, okay? Or sell your long position, however you trade, okay? This is an absolute perfect double top situation. Tells me you got to get short. These bear flags, when it ran right on up here, especially when you went to the 8-day and you couldn't get through, that tells you that you got to go short again, okay? So always look for these patterns. That's very, very critical, okay? That's very, very critical. Then what you always want to do is always look to the left of your chart, okay? So when you trade, where something has been is usually something where something has gone before, okay? So that's what you want to work. So when we look at the bottom of this candle, you say 80.55. Everything here, see how that nice support level? So if you lose this coming down, what you do is you look at this candle first, okay? You say, okay, 80.59. Well, okay, it went just a little bit below. Then right here, and then you follow it down. And if it holds that, and then you get that reversal candle like we had here, then you know that's your buying opportunity. And then this was so nice because it closed above that 8 simple moving average. And the next day she just popped right up, which normally it's going to do. Okay, so always look at that. Now, when we look at this candle here, this one right here, see this, how this candle is? This is what they call an indecision candle. Okay, so you have it just basically don't know. They don't know where do you want to take the market down, or they want to take it up. So that's indecision. You also have this high, which was 81.45, and you had a low of 80.42. Now you look at the previous day, you had 81.92 and 80.30. So this is what they call an inside day. where the high and the low is the inside of the high and low of the previous day. Okay, so when you see that and you see an indecision candle, the next day you want to make sure that if you can break out above, that candle is going to be nice and green once you get above, because now the decision has been made and she's going to go higher. Okay, so always look at that. That's very, very crucial there to trading. If you want to go there and make money like for the day. Okay, so now let's look at a bottoming candle here. Okay, so when we see a candle like this is basically what they call a red dog. Okay, so you're selling off, selling off, selling off. This is always key. So, okay, so when you put a low in, a lower low, a lower low, that's never a good pattern. What you need is reversal, which is basically this candle. Now, you can call a reversal candle, a bottoming tail candle, a red dog, whatever you want to call it, okay? This is a reversal candle. So when this comes down, you put in a lower low. And a lot of traders think, oh, this is going to sell off and it's going to go all the way down. And then it rallies up and it closes up higher. And then we just have a nice, good run on up here. So always watch for this here, that when something does go low, I watched it all the way down here because you don't never know. But once it goes lower like that and then rallies up, that's your buying opportunity here to go higher. Okay, so always remember that. Then when we have this breakout, so you have a high here of 79.29, and then we have a breakout here, okay, of this candle, but it can't hold it. Okay, that tells you that you're going to go sideways action when you can't hold it. Okay, so that's what you always want to watch here. So when you have a breakout, it's got to close back above that, not just pop in kind of a drop situation. Okay, but right now crude looks very, very bullish. What we're looking for here is that 83.12, a close above that. Then we have your next target is going to be right there at 83.60 is going to be your very next target. And then you're going to have 85.90. And then you're going to have 89.85. That's where oil is going to go here. It all depends on that 83.12. Now, on the downside, this could come right off here on Sunday very easily. So watch that 8 SMA because right now you have a good trading. Okay, so I pointed out this candle at 79.29. So you had a good sideways action for all these days, and then it popped up. Okay, then we had a little higher box that we were trading here. Okay, and now it looks like we're having a higher box. Now, again, when this breaks out, we're probably definitely going to have another higher box, just like we have here. See how it's stair-stepping back up? As it stair-stepped down, now it's reversing because of the seasonality, and now she's stair-stepping right back up. Okay, let's take a look here on a weekly and a monthly chart. Okay, here we have the monthly chart. Now, you can see how nice that this 50 simple moving averages, the 200-day moving averages is holding very, very nicely. And now we are above the key 8 SMA at 79.99 and that 80.08, that 21-day. Okay, so this is where you are going to have support levels if this sells off. But you can see on this monthly chart here how it's just working itself right on up here for the month. Now your RSI, your relative strength index, is moving up here very, very nicely. And look at here, the green is about to come across that red. If it does, you're going to take it right on up here, all the way up to these highs. Okay, so when that crosses that, remember this is a monthly chart, so you got, for the month here. Now next week you're going to be starting a new month, and then we're going to have a whole new candle here to take this thing. Looks much higher. Now when we look on the weekly chart here, well, see this very key level, 83.11. Okay, so where did it close for that week? Okay, that was the high, 83.21, but it did not close that. It closed at 83.11. Okay, so this is where you got, that's where that's very, very key resistance. Okay, so way back here, I was really telling you if seasonality takes in play, but again, these are weeks. Okay, this is not days. Okay, so if you can get above that 50 SMA here, okay, and you can get that 8-day of the curl up, this is your big target going here at your 80, your 100 simple moving average at 83.11. Now, last week here was right here, okay. You notice it went right into it and it pulled right back. This week here went right into it, okay, and it couldn't get ahead. But we got to see here. So this is a different kind of a candle than that topping tail candle, okay? But when you look at this 8 SMA, when it came on down, it did not cross that 200. It rolled, went sideways here, and then rolled right on up here. So this is very bullish. That 8-day is above your 21-day and above your 50-day. That gives you really, really good support. So even if this sells down and you sell down to the 79.25, this is still very, very bullish pattern. See how it is? But look at this 200 SMA here. See? Okay, well, look at all the sticky here. Even though it comes lower, doesn't mean nothing. For the week, the price closed higher than that 200 SMA. So this is actual crucial support. So you knew this once you had all this here support. And as it comes on down, okay, you hit all that. What's the big deal? Came all the way down and it held it, so you know that it's going to move right back up. And once it got above that 8 SMA, look how nice it's holding all the way on up. Now the key is going to be right there, that 83.11. If you can squirt above that, here's our big targets here, okay? There's your 85.30 right there. You have 87.83. We have 88.29. And then here's the bad boy right there, 89.85. That's what we're looking for on a target. Again, if it moves on up here, well, we can come here, 91.23. You got 91.88, 92.43, and then there's a candle at 95.03. That's your absolute big target. So you got two really good, we got a lot more than two. You got here target all the way up here, all the way up there. So you got a lot of good targets. Now your RSI here, plenty of room. It's only sitting at 57. You can run all the way to 70 plus easy. Your MACD shows good momentum. Your green is above your red. Very, very, very bullish. Okay, so any pullback in crude is a buying opportunity. Let me just put it that way. Okay. All right. Let's take a look here at natural gas. Okay. Here we have natural gas, your daily chart. Now we can see exactly what happened here. Okay. So I got a big red up. Okay. So here's is what you never want to see. Okay. See this series. As soon as you see these lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, that's never good. This is what you want, a reversal candle. And then she popped right up. But where did it go? Right into that 8 SMA, okay? And it got a little juice. Once it gets above that 8 SMA, then it can hold it. But then you notice how it came down, okay? So when it's sold off, this is really seasonality here in play. Is still not ready to move. You need a catalyst here for natural gas. But look at that 8 simple moving, how you went right into it, okay? Just could not get above, okay? And then look where that 21-day is and look at the price. It just could not do anything at all, okay? And then once you got below that 21-day, then she just went sideways all the way. Then it came all the way down here below this 8 simple moving average, and you retested this 1.589, which is basically the bottom of this candle, okay? 1.581, okay? So that's where you were, just a little bit higher, but you always look to the left of the chart. So if that 1.589 is lost here, then you have your 1.581. Then you'll come to the bottom of this candle. This is 1.575. And then we come back here. This is your big retest at 1.522. Okay. Very, very critical level right there as your support. Now, this here, okay, we have this gap up. So when this gapped up, I don't really like the gap up. This was on that contract roll. So I said, always watch a couple key levels. Watch the bottom of this candle. That's 1.775. Very, very key because that's your gap now. And the top of this candle here, 1.675, there's your fill. Okay, so you have a gap in the fill. These are like magnets to a fridge. They just want to get a fill. Now, again, it's not going to do maybe the instantly or this or that, but eventually that gets filled. The reason I point that out here is once natural gas gets running, here's another gap in the fill. So you take the highest candle, which is right there. Okay, so that's 2.168. There's your gap. And then you can run all the way up here to the 2.42. There's your fill. Okay, so if this turns around, which eventually it will, then we're going to be looking for this gap and we're going to be looking for that fill. And that's where you take your nice big long because you say, wow, once it gets through that gap, boom, I know you got resistance here, but eventually it will take that fill at 2.42. Okay. Now, what we had here is it's basically made a red candle here on that contract roll. Then the next day you sold off, but you held this key 8 SMA. Now, okay, yesterday's action, well, we came down and you went lower than this simple moving average here, okay, at 1.70. You put actually a low in at 1.68. Now, it did not fill that gap yet. So this still have a gap now. So now your gap is, okay, 1.686, and then we have to look at the top of that candle, 1.675. So you still have that gap filled, okay? So this is still very, very tricky, okay? Because what you have here, you close back above this 8 SMA here, which is very good, okay? But you did not close above that 21. Okay, so now what you have is a ping pong action, see, where the candlestick is in between the 21 SMA and the 8 SMA. So you got a little bit of what's going on. So now it's going to be a tell here next week. Okay, now maybe not Sunday night or maybe not Monday, but then who knows? But we got to see if it can scramble up here. If you can get back above this key 21 SMA here, well, then what we'll do is we'll just follow the candle. So then the next level is going to be 1.789. And then we'll come up here to your 1.83, all right? And then we can follow these candles up here. You have 1.84 level here. You can come down here, 1.87, 1.88. Realistically, this is going to be your target, 1.914. Now, when the futures open up, it's not going to be 1.914. This is going to be lower. So any kind of a rally above that 21 SMA is going to be right into a brick wall with this 50 SMA here, okay? So once it hits that, okay, she's going to come, it's going to stop it dead in its tracks. It's not going to say, oh, I'm going to go up on the first time. It doesn't, it doesn't, when the price rallies up and hits that 50 SMA, it's not going, it's going to stop it dead. It's like when you're a kid, you try to push over a Coke machine. Well, you're not going to knock it over the first time. You got to rock that bad boy a couple of times before you tip it over, okay? It's not going to go the first time, and that's how it is. So if we can get above this 21 SMA here, then you want to look here, whatever this opens up at. It could be open up at 1.90, 1.8 now. We don't know what it's going to be on Monday or Sunday night, and then Monday, that is going to be your big time resistance going right into that 50-day because you're not going to hit it the first time. You're going to smash into it, and then she's going to come down. Okay, so realistically on the upside, watch that key 21 SMA here. On the downside, watch this key 8 SMA. Very, very crucial. Okay, if that is lost, we know where we're going to go. You're going to go to 1.65. We have this 1.64 area right through here off the top of this candle. Very, very nice here. And then you have your big retest here, 1.589. So we got to see here because you got that tight action going on. On the upside, then you want to watch the top, 1.789. You want to watch this 1.83. And then this 50-day, 1.941. However it is at that time, as it keeps on rolling down, it's going to be a brick wall. Okay, now let's take a look here on a weekly and a monthly. Okay, here we have your monthly chart. Now you can see it's not really doing a whole lot. Now we'll be coming in here to a new month here. So basically it was just an inside month. This month the high and low was within the inside of the previous month here. So what you really need to do is you got to get back into the game here. This is that 1.946. You really need to get back in there. That way you're back into the game where we can start heading like for this 8 SMA here and moving right on up, all the way on up here. So we got to see how this is all going to shake out here. So there's not really a whole lot to tell. You just always want to look at the monthly chart because it gives you a bigger view. Because bottom line, if this, say this sells right down and this 1.522 is lost, here's your target, 1.44. That's where natural gas is going to go, okay? Very, very simple. Okay, but right now we don't worry about that. We got to see a main chair that holds all this key support levels. Now, here on a weekly chart here, well, it finished up here. Okay, so you had a high of 1.83 for the week, and then we had a low of 1.58. You closed at 1.75. So you're right above this 1.72, which is good. That's always good. So this might be the reversal candle here that we were looking for. Once you get above this 8 SMA here, then we can just rock it out. So you want to go to that 1.83, and then we just go there 1.84. Then you have your 1.918, and then we're looking for this 2.0. This is what we're looking for all the way up. And see, and here's that gap. There's the fill. Okay, that's what eventually what we're looking for. I don't like the 21 days rolling down, 8 days rolling down, 100 days rolling down. We got to get that to flatten out to rock this thing higher. Now, here on your MACD here, well, this isn't really showing. This is still showing bearish. Your green is below your red. RSI, there isn't really a whole lot of strength here. But again, if this can roll up here, then we'll be in good shape here where you could go higher. The key is that 8 SMA, that you need to hold that on a closing basis, because you look at here, as I say, if you don't, see, right into it. Okay, see, this is like what I'll show you, like it was on that 50 SMA here on your daily chart, that you're not going to get through it right away, especially like when you look at these weekly. See, it's just like hitting a brick wall. Okay, it's that Coke machine all over again here. Bam, right through. So you got to rock that bad boy to see if we can get her higher. So this might be the reversal. We got to see how it's all going to shake out here next week. Okay, let's look at some patterns. Okay, now you can just, this is very easily, you can just punch up here on Google this, and you can find all these chart patterns. Okay, so this gives you a good idea on candlesticks. Okay, is basically what I'm looking for. Okay, on situations. Okay, so here, like, I'll just start off here on your bullish chart. Okay, so what do we have here on this bullish chart? When you look at a bullish engulfing, that means we had a red candle, and then we take the green one where you put in a lower low, but then you put in a higher high, and basically you just engulf the previous candle. Okay, so that's always very good. Here is the same thing as that piercing line, which is very close to, like, say, a red dog, where you come down lower and then she shoots up higher. Okay, so this is always very good. Okay, this here, you basically had an inside day, which is very, very bullish. You have 2 green candles. You had a big, engulfing, and then you have one here where you have a red candle, but it's an inside day candle. Okay, here you have a nice, good, what they call just a tweezer bottom. Very, very nice. And then what we hear is this, I always call this a kick-ass candle, where you have a red, and then boom, she has a green, and she shoots right on up. These hammer candles, okay, which is like a bottoming tail. See, where you have your selling off, and then you have, it looks like a lower, and everybody's going to go short, and then it rallies right back up here. That is always like a bottoming tail situation. Now, okay, same way, just inverted. It shoots up here, but it maintains the green candle. Okay, so it maintains the positive situation. Okay, so and here's this one here is very interesting here, because this is like what, there's a lot of names there, obviously. Okay, gravestone, dragonfly, and all that. But this is, I always call this like a tweezer bottom. Okay, so they look like tweezers, and when you see that, same way when you see it like on the top here. Okay, you never want to buy this. When you see this on the top, that means she's going lower. But when you see this on the bottom, that means she's going higher. So there are just different patterns here. If you want to check this all out here, where you have the soldier boys. And same way with this here, where you have a lower low, lower lower, and then you have the big green that it just engulfs all 3 of them. Okay, so that's always what you want to do. So when you just look at all these patterns, and then you can just take a look, and it just gives you different ideas on what I look at. See, so this is just the opposite here of what you have in the bullish, where you have a green candle, and then you have a red that engulfs it, but engulfs it in the red in the wrong direction. Okay, so always watch that. That is very good. Okay, here's another shooting star. We have your bullish, and then you have that topping tail, and then she comes right on down. Okay, then there's that gravestone, but it's like a tweezer top, and it comes right on down. You never want to see that the black candles here, the 3 red candles, as it flows on down, that's never good action. That's what we had on natural gas. It could just keep running on all the way on down on a situation. This here, which you definitely don't want to like, because what it does, an evening star, it rallies up like it's going to rally up, and then it just flatlines here, and it comes all the way down. That's not a good look. See here, another topping tail situation. Same way we have here, same here. And this is like an indecision kind of a candle, where you just like this. And the problem is like a spinning top, where you're way up high. It's not a good look. What you want to do if you're bullish is this is the kind of patterns that you actually want to see. So you can just check these out here. And maybe it'll help you with like with the candlestick patterns that I show every day. Okay, let's look at another chart. Okay, now these aren't actually trading patterns. Okay, so what you have here is bullish continuation. Okay, so basically what you're doing is you're rallying up and you're holding a level. Okay, you're holding a level, and then and you can see where the bottom is just making series of higher highs, and then what it is when it breaks out, then that's your buying point, because you know that she's going to break out right on up. This is just the opposite here, where you have it's almost like a bear flag, and then when it just can't get up until you have that series of lower highs, that's never good. Come right to the bottom here, okay? So that's not good. Now, reversal pattern here, this is always good. You always want to look for that W pattern. That's always very, very bullish. You don't want this here if you're bearish, because when you put in the high and then you put a lower high in, that tells you it's going to go right on down. Okay, that's just not what you want. Okay, so we have an ascending wedge where this is basically like a bull flag. You have that wedge going down, and then she breaks on out. Once it breaks on out, and you start taking out these highs, that is a good way to go long here. Okay, so this here is not what you want, because obviously that's just the opposite, okay, of what you want. Now this here is a kind of a fool, because what it does, it comes up, and what it is a good trading range. But once it breaks out of that trading range, like what we're doing on crude now, where we're just trading it for long periods of time, then when she breaks out, then she rips, okay? So this here, bearish, is just the opposite, where you can't get through the highs, then she comes right on down, okay? So here we have you have a nice bullish flag. This is always what you want to see. Now, this is almost what we have like on the natural gas. If you look at your hourly chart or even your 4-hour chart here, it looks like you have a bull flag. The problem is there's no pole, but we got to see here. And then you have that 21-day right above it, and that's a kind of throws a little curve into it, okay? But when you see this, and then when you start breaking out of that first level, okay, that tells you that, boom, you got to go up, because see, you're making a series of lower highs, and then when she breaks out, boom, she breaks out, okay? So bearish wedge, same thing, the opposite. You have your, like a bear flag is coming up here. It looks like it wants to rally on up here, and then when she loses it, and you lose that bottom of that, boom, down she goes, okay? So this is always good here. This is invert head and shoulders pattern. So you look at right there, see, your left shoulder, then we have your head, and then you have your right shoulder, and then once you break that neckline, boom, she's gone. This is just the opposite, left shoulder, head, and then right shoulder, and then when that breaks that neckline, then she comes right on down. Not good, okay? So this one here is a triangle. So this one here is a little bit harder to pick up, because what it does is it rises up, and it comes down, it makes a lower high, and it looks like you're just making a serious lower high, but then what it does, when it breaks out of this high right there, then you know she's going to rip higher, especially when you take out the top of that right there, okay? So bearish is just the opposite here. Okay, a falling wedge, these are always really good, because it looks like the price is coming down, you got a series of lower highs, and then when she breaks out, boom, she's gone, and then obviously the bear is just to the opposite, where it looks like you're flagging on up here, and then she just breaks that bottom trend line, and then she comes all the way down. So you can just check this one out here. It gives you a good idea of patterns. I got one more here for you. Okay, so right here, these are always patterns that I look for on a daily basis, okay? Especially this double bottom situation. This is always very good, where you're coming on down, rises up here, and then you hold that previous level right there. That's what you want to see. Then when it breaks up, a lot of times what it do is, as it breaks up, it'll come down and retest. Now, again, if it holds that, okay, if it holds that level, then she just rallies right up nice, okay? And here's that inverted head and shoulders pattern, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and boom, gone, okay? Bullish channel as she's coming down, almost like a bull flag, okay? You put a pole right there, bull flag, and then she comes down, retest, and then gone, okay? Here is your perfect bull flag. There's your pole, okay? This is what I'm talking about, where you see your candlestick right there, and then she just looks like a big flag, and then when she breaks out, boom, she's gone. Now, when you look at this one here, well, this obviously here, double top situation, just the opposite. Say, just the opposite of what's going on here all the way through, okay? So now the next one here is a bullish rectangle, okay? So we see this here right now is happening on crude, where you're trading a range, okay? Like I point out those boxes, okay? And then the upper boxes. And that's pretty much what you got here. You're just trading it until you can break on up here, and then boom, slam right on out. But a lot of times, sometimes it'll go right on out. Other times it comes back and tests that high. And if it holds, that's another buying opportunity here to go long, okay? So here's another very, very bullish pattern here. It's just a nice big flag, and then she's gone. Same way here, when you have a triangle where it's not really a flag where it's setting in lower lows, it just basically a sideways and then pops right on up here. Okay, so a lot of good bullish flag, and then obviously your bearish ones are just the opposite of what you got going on there. So this is what you don't want is these bear flags. And so you have your pull going on here, and then you're rallying up higher, and then when she loses it, she's all gone. So if you get a chance, just check these patterns out here. This is what I look for every day: double tops, double bottoms, situations. Now, a lot of times here, when you have like a double top, double bottom, you want to make sure that it puts in a higher low or a lower low. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want to look for. Another thing you want to look for is inverted head and shoulders patterns. Those are really good. These double bottoms are great. Your bull flags are great. Your bear flags are great. So anything that you can look for that gives you that edge in trading, is always a good positive. Okay, that's what I got for you here on a Friday afternoon. I'll be back tomorrow, and now we'll probably do a pile of different kind of stocks, and we'll just go and review there tomorrow on the weekend edition. All right, have a great weekend, and thanks for watching.